Alright, so I'm finally doing this video on Blood Ancient because it got some changes and pretty much now you can't kill yourself using your skills so that's good. Now it's impossible. So I'm gonna kind of show you guys kind of what it can do, and I think it's a really good alternative to like Yami no Ronin. If like you want something that just is consistent with this damage, you don't have to monitor anything really. Like for the most part, it's a different type of trick you have to pull off with this one. Then, unless an enemy has like maxed out haste, then you might have a problem. But like you could still stay at 100% dodge. So I'm gonna go to the Hall of Class. Hall of Class. So I'm gonna go over a little bit of what these skills do, man. So we're gonna go bam, bada boom. So you drank of the distilled essence of several great vampire warriors. Blood Ancient gains mana when they strike an enemy or dodge an attack, which restores health unless you're using your skills right. And I do believe it gives you, I don't, it doesn't give you anything, but I could be wrong. Now, this is a class you want to have one health with at all times. Alright, like so you can get more damage out of seeing red and out of your nuke. So, the rank one at 2.5 second cooldown, but since your haste is probably going to be maxed if you're using it properly, it's about 1.25 attacks per set. No, 1 point. Yeah, 1.25. So deals increased damage the lower your HP is. Here's our second one. It's a 4 second, and this one costs 20% of your health. This one applies Bloodlust for 5 stacks. And that gives you crit damage by 20%. So you can get up to 100%. That's pretty good. This is the one you want to have stacked up after image. So it increases your dodge by 15% for 8 seconds. It stacks to 3. And it costs 20% of your max health. Your bread and butter. This keeps you dodging. This isn't your damage, but it keeps you dodging. You don't want to lose this. They boosted the amount of time, so essentially you want to keep spamming it, every few seconds, so you don't lose it. Now, Ishemia is one of your two skills that cost mana instead. You never have mana issues with this class whatsoever. So, vampiric strength that you tap within, yada yada, empowering yourself, applies blood boon, which increases your crit chance and your haste by 30% for 12 seconds. But while you're empowered, all non-life steal healing you receive is negated. So, the trick with this one is if you really want health, don't use this. Like, if you want to keep mid health to upper health, like let's say the enemy has a guaranteed attack and you don't want to die because you're at 1 health, don't use this. You want to be ready to dodge. Now, you have another skill that heals, but we'll talk about that in a second. This one right here is just a buffer. You kick it off, you get your crit chance, you get your fast speed. Now, you can get lifesteal healing like Dauntless kicks off. You can use that. You can use Health Vamp, and you can use it your rank 5. Now, your Enhanced Senses increases your crit and dodge by 10%. That is simple enough. Now, your Dex increased by 10%. That's why Vim is a really good helmet enhancement. Like, right now, I'm at 57%. If I give myself 3 stacks, I'm over 100%. He's not touching me. Not one bit. Now this is the one that kind of catches you off guard. So bite into your target, inflicting a devastating wound. Deals increased damage the lower your health is and heals for a portion of the damage dealt. So this is one of your life steals. But feasting reduces your dodge by 100%. Now it doesn't get rid of your stats for rank twos, so you can still keep those up, but for that second you can get hit. guaranteed. Also applies blood loss, which reduces their target haste by 30%. And it inflicts a DOT that increases the lower your health. It's a decent DOT, but you can use the skill very consistently. Now, while your target suffers from blood loss, all non-life steal healing they receive is negated, which only lasts 1 second. Every effect lasts 1 second. So the idea with this, the lowering haste, the 1 second, you want to use it right after they attack so you don't die. I'll show you an example of that. You want to wait until you see that dodge pass by your character. As soon as it says dodge, you want to hit this so it cools down. The 1 second runs out before they can hit you. So you can essentially keep throwing out those little 12, 13,000s. Now, the rank 10 is it crit damage increased by 50%. I thought I'd add that in. So I'm going to equip it a regular weapon. No damage boosts or anything. I don't want to use Bloodbinder. Um, so we're gonna throw on that bad boy. Just apocalyptic hair. And, since I'm gonna be using a dodge build, dodge oriented, I'm gonna throw these wings of judgment on. So right off the bat, stack that three. As you can see, you're at 94%, almost untouchable. But that's where Vim comes in. You want to have Vim before you really use this class, so you can stay at 100% all the time. Because that 5%, man, it's happened to me before. So after that, your rotation would be 2, 3, 4, 2, and oh, I made a mistake. I wasn't supposed to use that attack until after he missed. So dodge, boom. You want to smack it when dodge pops up, so you don't have to worry about getting hit. Dodge pops up, hit him again, or miss. It doesn't matter. So as you can see, let me put on the damage counter, just so you guys can see kind of what it does with just regular enhancements. And if I'm hitting the mark with this every time, I can really keep my damage up there. And if you have to wait for the next dodge because you don't want to die, then do that. It's not worth dying for. You're trying to survive, eh? But essentially, if you keep hitting that on time, like I missed it there, but I got it right there. But you can essentially spam all your skills, eh? It ain't gonna hurt you none, except for your fifth skill. Make sure you hit it right after they miss, right after they miss. That's what keeps your damage really high. Like, it's 5,000 right now without any damage boosting. I might have an armor on that gives me dragon damage. I don't know. So we got 5,000 damage per second, but we can do way better than that if we actually use the class properly. Let me see if I had that on. Okay, so I did have the fire champion armor on. Now, I'm going to switch now. I prefer to use Valiants. If you have Valiants, should be fine if you don't have them, but why would you have Valiants without them? It's like the first one you get. Now, this increases all of your stats, so your crit damage, crit chance, dodge chance, haste, etc., etc. That helps with not getting touched. But since your dex is increased 10%, you want to capitalize off this helmet. Best helmet you could use. You could probably use the Eye of Winter Mask for more raw damage. Like I might be able to hit more damage with it. And then we're gonna do that bladed cape of honor. And I'm gonna go back in here and kind of demonstrate what I can do now. Now that I've got my enhancements. I'm gonna get a couple of my stacks up before I and go. Like, look at that. That is just impressive damage. And I can keep popping off these nukes. Like 19,000 that I can dish out every time they miss. It's just that good. Boom, man. But you want to lose that health right off the bat. Since it gives you health, you want to try to burn it out with after image, unless you think you might have missed your timing for your 5 skill. But keep that rotation going, and you can keep a steady, consistent 10,000. Like it's that good. But make sure your stacks stay up. Since he doesn't do much damage, I could sacrifice one hit. Make sure you burn through it. I made the mistake of not burning through it. But yeah, if you keep your rotation going, then you can wreck shop with them. You could throw on smite too, since you get a nuke so fast that there's no time within the smite strike. You can get out like 3 nukes before it refreshes, and then you can kick one off right after it refreshes. And as you can see, my DPS is going up right now. DPS is king. Everybody loves DPS, and so here's some DPS for you. Burn through all that health. You want all the damage you can get. And if you really want to do something like cheeky, like putting Praxi on it in case, you miss an attack, and you want a chance for Spinning Dragon to kick off, you could do that too. Just in case you do miss your timing, you'll land a Praxi strike. You can negate the damage you would have taken. But yeah, 11,000, not bad. Just for goodness sake, extra 11% damage, but I'm not getting the Valiant boosts. Now I'm gonna show what we can do with this bad boy here. Let me get my stacks up, at least 3 stacks. And let's roll one. Yeah, you see that? That is just insanity. You can hit nukes so often that, just don't get crazy with it. Like, don't let yourself get carried away and end up getting hit by the weakest attack in the game and still dying. I missed timing, that's okay. 40k in total. Easy, eh? As long as you got your timing on point, you should be alright. Now, the only other bad part about getting rid of Valiance is that you don't get more crit chance, because the crit chance that comes from it really helps. Like, I feel like honestly, if I had used a Valiance on this weapon, my damage would be a lot higher. I feel like it's more or less the fact that I didn't have my stacks to start, and I went like 2 minutes, but I'd recommend Valiant personally, but if you got Smite, you could still get some work done with it. Like, impressive. So PvP, if you're not playing a guaranteed attack class, and you're playing something, that has to rely on, just accuracy in general, then you're gonna decimate them. There is no question about it. You're gonna be floating at 1, but you're gonna be having a whole lot of fun. They ain't gonna be able to touch you one bit. So give it a shot in PvP. Bosses, more or less just bosses that don't have guaranteed hits. Like if it's an ultra, and typically don't bring this class, but if you're looking for a new taste of life, then this is the class for you. Look at that DOT, 3,000 damage added on to my nuke. That might as well be a 47,000 nuke. I wanted to do a Arcana Invoker, but class guide too, but I ain't got the time for it today. But that's all right. We can get to that later on that, and I wanted to have Elysium with it. Now, as you can see, if you still miss time in a little bit, you can still kick it off. Like you don't have to be dead on balls accurate, but you can stay pretty consistent with it. If you miss a second, like almost a second, because you are slowing their haste. So if it's a regular enemy that attacks, every 2 seconds, then typically their 30% reduction will put them down to what is it, like 2.7 seconds. But yeah. Oh, and just as a bonus, I'm gonna be doing a bit less damage, but I want to test out Braxy and see if it works pretty well on it. Where's my polished? There it is. Now, let me get my stacks back up. Praxy's really good if you're fighting a very high HP boss, because not only do you have that extra chance to kick off Spinning Dragon, but you've also got that extra Praxy damage adding up, and if you got a very high crit chance, then it's just spamming that two might actually be a good way to, get some extra damage in. That could become your damage skill throughout longer fights. And Praxy's really not hard to get. Like it's very easy. As you can see, I'm hitting a roughly 7,000 with it already. Let me see if I can get about this far. I'm doing about, let me see, 10,000. Boom. Kind of trying to see what I can do with both. See, Praxy's already at 10,000. I think I missed timing right there. That's all right though. Like cheeky Praxy, you get a chance of kicking off a spinning dragon. It's like a 50-50 every 4 seconds. And I want to see if I can kick it off like on purpose, missing the dodge timing and see if I can survive the strike. So I'm gonna spam, but just keep in mind it might not work. Praxy's not guaranteed. Okay, so yeah, Praxy didn't kick it off, but as you can see, damage roughly about 11-2, and that was with a 30% damage boosting weapon. Smite had 50%. It just adds up so fast because you've got that 4 second bloodshed. You could also put Lacerate on it if you don't have Vim, just to furtherly reduce their hit chance. Just make it impossible to hit you if you don't have Vim, because you could still get to level 100 like 92%, 94%. If you go full thief it, you can definitely hit 100%, but like nobody wants to do that because we want some type of damage. What's the point if we ain't got damage? But yeah, um, cool beans, man. Try it out. It's good, eh? It's entertaining, and it challenges you, based on your reaction speed. You have to react. It's all about reactions. Unless you're doing the Praxis build, then you're just taking chunks out of them every couple of seconds. But yeah, good. Have a good day.